Let's see if we are live. I'm not sure, like we are live, right? Okay, awesome. So we are live right now. So let's start off the today's webinar. So hello guys, welcome everyone back again to the Education Diary, day number 2 for the cloud platform. So today we are going to be interacting again with the Amazon AWS. So if you didn't came yesterday, this is going to be a revision for you. So we are having our Amazon AWS. By the way, I hadn't tried for the Windows yet, but let's see what we can do today. Basically, you can just visit to the Amazon Web Services, and once you are here, make sure you have the free tier. You're going to use free tier version, sign into the console. I'm already having up my ID and password, so no, it's basically asking me for again. So that's fine. So basically, I'm going to be taking up my user ID and password and simply click on sign in, but make sure you have up your email address signed up for your Amazon AWS, and make sure to link your MasterCard or Visa card. Don't worry if you're using free tier, it's not going to be taking any kind of transactions. It's just like for using the free tier, which is 750 hours almost. So today we are going to be making an EC2 instance once again, but today we are going to be making for the Windows, which is going to be GUI interface rather than using Linux. I can basically go to the EC2 instance, and like yesterday, we are just going on the instances. By the way, you can also click directly from here, but I'm just going to show you that how the menu bar or the interface actually looks like. So what I can do is I can simply go and click on launch instance, and I'm going to be giving it a name like Windows. Right, so once basically I give it Windows, I'm going to be selecting my Windows operating system. Make sure you select your free tier. If you're going to be selecting any other kind of thing, so it's going to be taking some charges. So whatever the free tier versions are available, so you can actually use all these things. Basically, I'm using Microsoft Windows Server 2022 base, but you can actually go with the other options as well. Once it's done, now here once again we are going to be creating a new key pair. We are going to be making it a name like Windows, right? Key pair already exists. Let's go and let's have Windows 1, right? And let's create a key pair, because it's really essential when we are going to connect our SSH through SSH. So it should be there, the key pair should be there. Once actually it's done, everything is fine. Allow HTTPS, allow HTTP, and I think so everything is really fine. So what we can do is we can simply click on the launch instance. Now, once the instance is being done, you have to go back to your instances section, make sure to refresh, and here you can see that the instance state is right now pending, which is of course going to take some time, and then you have to start up your instance, and then you have to go with your Windows GUI interface. If I'm not sure, if I'm not wrong, we have to convert our key file to something, and then only we can use the Windows thing. I'm not sure, but let's see, let's check out. So once our instance is running, now basically you can see that we are having actions, we are having connect. What I can do is I can simply go to the connect, and here you can see we are having session manager, RDP client, EC2 serial console, but we are not having any kind of SSH, right? So previously when we were using Linux, we were having some SSH, but here we are not having any kind of SSH. So what we can do is so the username is administrator, get password. All right, so please wait at least. Okay, so let's wait and download remote desktop file. Now what we can do is we can simply go onto our app store. Right now, if you're using Windows, you can basically download Putty, which is a software. But if you don't know about Putty, so I can basically show you. So this is the Putty software for your Windows, right? But if I'm using Mac, so we cannot basically use Puttygen. By the way, we can use Puttygen, but that is something going to take a lot of time. What I can do is I can simply go and install one best application from the App Store, which is going to be remote desktop. So here you can see we are having a Microsoft remote desktop. Now I'm going to be using this software directly to get access to my Windows operating system directly from a Mac by using cloud, right? But yeah, if you are using Windows, so make sure to go to the Putty, and basically you can see a free SSH and telnet client for Windows, right? So basically you can use this putty software in order to connect. Now, since it's a very long time I have used putty software, I might not be able to use putty because it's a long time I hadn't used putty. Once the application has been installed, we can basically open this Microsoft remote desktop connection. Let's wait. So it's open, and here you can see not now, continue, allow, and that's it. So basically this is our application here, you can see. And what we can do is we can simply click on the add PC. Now what's the PC name, user account, we are going to be having some great PCs and something like that. Now what I can do is I can simply go to my browser. Basically we just downloaded one file which is this Windows RDP, and what I can do is I can simply make it on my desktop, and you can see it is already having a logo of my previous application, right? If I'm going to click on this, so let's click on this, and here you can see it is asking for the password in order to connect to my Windows operating system, which is the cloud. If you remember, we were having get password option here. So if I click on get password, so here you can see we are having the associate private key, something like that, but we are not having any kind of password. So use your private key to retrieve, keep here associated. And actually we are not having any kind of password, if I'm not wrong. I think so we should have a password. So let's go into the connect. We are having any password, username. We are not having any kind of password, but I think so we do have created the key, right? So if you remember, we were having windows1.pem file. I think so this is actually the key which is it's asking. So what we can do is we can upload a private key file, so windows1.pem, and we can simply click on decrypt password, and this is the password. So what I can do is I can simply copy it, and I can go back to my software, and I can simply paste this password here and click on continue. So yes, continue. I want to give permission. So configuring remote PC, connecting to this blah blah blah, and here we are in our Windows. So in actually now you can see we are basically using our Windows operating system by using cloud. So it is going to take some time. It's going to be a kind of laggy because we are using free tier version. So we cannot that upgrade to something like 1 TB SSD or something like that, more GPU or CPU performances. So in order to use those functionalities, you have to upgrade your account. It's not going to be very expensive, by the way, if you are using Amazon AWS. So it's only asking for the money of the services which you are using, right? So suppose if you want to upgrade your machine to like 4 GPU or 3 GPU, something like that, or any kind of GPUs like RTX or whatever, because I'm not into the field of GPU and gaming, but still, like, I may have heard about the RTX GPU. So suppose if you want to upgrade something and like that, so it's only going to be charging you for like 1 hour, 2 hour based on your usage. So discovered by the other PC, so that's totally fine. Let's click on yes, and here we are having our Windows. So here you can see in the above we are having our host name, instance ID, private IPv4 address, public IPv4 address, instance size which we have selected, that is t2.micro. Available zone is basically US East. Architecture is AMD 64. Total memory is only 1024 MB, if I'm not wrong. Network is low to moderate. By the way, you can use this particular operating system, which is Windows. It's going to be kind of like slow, but we don't want, like, here you can see we are having 29 GB of almost, right? If I can go into the properties and see it's kind of like slow, right? Not very fast, but yeah, for the free tier version it's totally fine. 64-bit operating system, no pen or touch available, product ID, device ID, Intel R, CPU is ES2676 version 3. It's not even i3 processor, it's, I think so it's a dual core, right? So it's working on the dual core processor. But yeah, what's wrong with this? Like, of course we can use this free tier version, and here we are having our Windows operating system. Now of course, if you are working on Windows, by default, like, my main operating system is Mac. So for me, I was already having a remote desktop application. You can also download this for the Windows as well, but Putty is something which we generally use, and I think so that is something which you can go for, right? And suppose if I'm going to now turn off my instance, So our instance is running right now, right? So it's running, so the state is running. As usual, I hadn't assigned any elastic IP address onto this instance. Elastic IP is something which is going to be a fixed IP address, so that every time if I that reboot my instance, so the IP address is going to be changed. So in order to make my IP address kind of permanent, we can basically assign an elastic IP address as well. So now what I can do is I can simply select this, because as I told you yesterday that never ever make your instance running, right? If you close up your website and your instance is running, so it's the after the free trial version is ended, so you might get need to pay, right? So never ever make your instance running if you are not using. So I can basically select the windows, I can go into the instance state, and I can click on stop instance. As soon as I'm going to click on stop instance, you can see that this windows is going to be get off. So if I click here, I can click on stop, and if I see on my windows, so you can see it automatically shut down, right? So yep, you can see your session was disconnected, your session ended because of an error. If this keeps happening, contact your network administrator for assistance, blah blah blah. Of course the session has been ended and our Windows machine is now off. So here you can see that this it's basically have stopped. Now once again, if I go for the elastic IP, so basically you can see it's showing me the features in the elastic IP, the EC2 feature. If I go here and if I create an elastic IP address, so let's click here. So let's refresh the page. I think so. Okay, so we are having our elastic IP address. We can simply click on the allocate elastic IP address. Don't go and check for these things, it's totally fine. Click on allocate, and now we are having this IP address 3.213.170.23. Now if I go and click on this elastic IP address, I can simply click on associate elastic IP address instance. As usual, we are having our windows which is in stopped right now, and that's it. If I click on associate, so this elastic IP has been associated successfully with our instance ID, blah blah blah, right? So now if I go to my EC2 instances again, and I can simply start up my instance from here. Like of course we are having our instance, so let's start this one, right? We can basically start our instance. It's basically started. Now once again I'm going to be clicking on this particular file to connect with our instance. So let's see if it's running or not. So once it's running, we can simply click there. If I'm not wrong, as usual, the public IP has now been assigned as a permanent. That means by using elastic IP, so we may need to download again the remote desktop file, because this is the previous one which is having the previous configuration. But let's see, let's check out if it still works. So let's refresh. It's taking time, still pending. Now here you can see that this is the public IPv6 IPv4 address, which is now the permanent IPv4 address, which is of the what elastic IP, right? So let's click here and let's see if it still works. I'm not sure, like it's going to be working again because the configurations may have been changed, right? So we may need to download. If I'm click on connect, now RTP client, and we have to download another desktop file. So here you can see we couldn't connect to the remote PC. Make sure your PC is turned on, because as usual I told you that the configuration has been changed, right? Because we have assigned a new IPv4 address. Now let's download this file. Let's go here and let's go here. Let's click on this, and here again it's asking for password, get password. So of course we have a private key, which is a PEM file, decrypt password. This is the password. Let's copy this and let's paste it here. Click continue. Yes, continue. And again it's configuring the remote PC. So yes, now it's turned on, right? So you have to pay attention every time any kind of configurations you are doing with the IPs or instances or elastic IPs. So you may need to download the configuration file again, and then only it's going to be working. Now here you can see that the public IPv4 address is basically 34.202.235.207. Now this is going to be something every time you are going to be rebooting up your PC. So this is something you can see. Now if I'm going to use up my browser, or I can basically host up my website onto this particular IPv4 address, so anyone can basically come and they can basically see my website. Now again, the website is not going to be having a free domain like .com, .in. You cannot have that. But yeah, by using the Amazon, you can basically purchase a .com and you can host up your website onto the Amazon AWS. Now you can see the browser is opening very slow. If I'm using this particular platform, it's really slow, really laggy, right? But overall, I just wanted to show you that how easy it is actually. If you're not installing any kind of local software on your computer, you can just use these kind of virtualizations online tools, and it's free, right? But the only thing is you have to connect with your what we can say MasterCard or Visa card, right? So if you're not having that, so it's going to be hard for you. So let's click here, continue without this data, confirm, and start browsing, and here we are. I'm using Windows online without even installing it on my Mac operating system, right? Absolutely free. So yep, that is something which we can do, but again it's going to be laggy. So yeah, if I'm going to go for the education diary here, I think so we can basically see here as well. From our instance we can see, right? So if I hit enter, now again see it's really laggy, but yeah, the website is being opened. So here we are, the home, the education diary, and yeah, here we are, right? So the main advantage of using these kind of cloud platform is, like, suppose if I just close my instance, so whatever my browsing or whatever the tools, if I use, suppose in hacking, if I'm using these operating systems in hacking, so all these things can basically get vanished, right? So no one will actually get to know that what you have used. Even Amazon is not going to know like what you have used by using your instance, right? So this is actually the best thing. As usual, you may have to upgrade your instances if you really want to have more power in your computer. Now for right now, I'm basically closing up this one. So what I can do is I can simply go instance state, stop instance, stop, and my Windows will be shut down. So it's shutting down, and basically I'm going to terminate this instance because I don't need it anymore, and that's it. So yeah, it's terminated. Now once it's terminated, I can basically go and search for the elastic IP address. Okay, close, and basically I have to delete the elastic IP address as well, because as usual I told you, whatever services you are using, make sure to delete them, right? Release elastic IP address. So again, it's still, you know, that it's still pending, the session. So let's refresh this, and actions, release. So again, it's still pending because it's associated with the Windows instance. So we have deleted the instance right now, so let's wait. After some time it will show like, yeah, now here you can see it can be released easily. So let's click on release, and yeah, here we are. Now again, as usual, I told you the services which you are going to use, it's going to be charging only for that. But in the free tier version, on the starting 730 or 740 hours, you can use all these things. Services absolutely free. Now the thing is, make sure, if suppose, like, because I used this, here you can see if I go down, I still have to pay $0.02. So it automatically transacted from my card. It was around 60-70 rupees for 1 month, right? It's still deducted because I used some of these services which were not free, but still you can see it's so low, right? $0.02, almost 60-70 rupees per month. It's really good. What I can do is I can simply go here, I can go in the billing and cost management, and basically it's going to be having up my all the billing and cost, what I am using for what I am being paid for. So basically you can see last month's total cost was $1.09, and of course I'm using $0.02 around this month, right? So in March basically I started using Amazon for, of course, showing you guys, and in April also, and right now I'm using in May. So you can see that Amazon virtual private cloud is actually taking my main cost, And apart from that, Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, that is basically Elastic IP addresses, is basically taking this particular charge. But still, $1, 80 or 100 rupees is not very expensive if you're going to be using up your multiple operating systems, right? I can go into the bills. So this is basically your bills section, right? Basically, you can check up your bills, invoices, and everything. So basically, I'm using Korea because I am in Korea, so I'm using the web services which are associated with the Korea LLC. The billing period is May 1 to May 31st. The bill status is pending because I'm not using, but I think so maybe now I might be getting some $1 around charge because I use some of the services, but that's totally fine. I can go to the payments, purchase orders. If I go to the free tier, so basically you can see that how many hours I may have used. So find service name, again, see, you can see I just used 5 services. CloudWatch, which is in the free tier, Amazon Data Transfer, Elastic IP addresses, Elastic Compute Cloud, and VPC, which is of course the EC2 instances. So 750 hours for free for 12 months as part of. So for 12 months you are getting 750 hours, 30 GB per month for free for 12 months. So 100 GB free for per month. So yeah, this is actually the information you can get into your free tier version. Cost categories, basically you can go into the budgets. So yeah, overall you can see we are having tons and tons of things in the Amazon AWS. But yeah, the important thing which I wanted to show you is basically the ones which I already told you yesterday and today as well, right? So I hope so everything is clear now. And this is actually the cloud platform. Some students might take all these things into cloud security or cloud computing, so that is totally different topic, right? So cloud computing is something which is having different things. It comes into the blockchain industry, and of course we are having the cloud security, which is again coming in the form of cyber security. So cloud platform is only the topic which shows you using the virtualization softwares, virtualization operating systems, so that in company if you go, you can basically host your website or host the company's website onto the cloud, right? So yeah, we hadn't went into very deep because if we are going onto the S3 buckets or Lambda functions or CloudWatch, or we can go to the code build, so that is something going to be more and more interesting, right? But that is something for the advanced level. In the future, if you want, you can basically check out the course at the education diary for the cloud platform, and you are going to be having like the, we can say, using up all of these services, how you can actually use these services. So that is something you can actually check on the education diary, right? So yep, if you have any questions, so make sure to ask to the education diary or email to us, or if you're having any problems, so make sure to comment down onto the YouTube channel. We will try to respond to you. And yep guys, I'll meet you next week. So till then, take care, bye bye, have a nice day everyone.